This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we pick up with Shar Yichud Hamasa, the gateway of focusing ourselves, our intention, all that we do, and we are in chapter 5 in Safari. It's 5:29 is where we are at now as we begin, and we're discussing the different false reckonings, false views that our Yetzer Hara tries to convince us of in order to detract, take us away from doing our avoda. Once he realizes that he's striking out on these other aspects, Yisapek aleinu gmul ha'olam haba va'onasho. So then what he'll do is try to put doubts into our mind about there being olam haba, right? What you see is what you get. There is no world to come. There is no afterlife. We live, we die, and then that is the end of the story. There is no gumul. There is no reward in the world to come. Va'onasho, there is no punishment. And I think last time we gave that mashal of the two guys who were imprisoned. Yeah, and each had their very different attitudes. I think that was this group. Yeah, right? So that doesn't exist. I had an uncle of mine who was very big in the conservative movement, and he was quite a character, and he had a tape played at his funeral, and in the tape he said as follows: "Everyone always wonders what happens once we leave this world. Well, now it's all clear to me. But I'm not going to tell you." Right? So that was a whole tape that he made before he passed away to be played at his funeral, right? So the Yetzer Hara tries to give us these doubts about Olam Haba, the world to come. The Yishtadel, and he attempts la'arvev, to confuse, ulishabesh, and to misinform, to mislead aleinu, mitzad, based on miut, mitziyuto, mevuar, b'sefer Toratenu, right? First of all, there's very, very little of it in the Torah itself. The Torah does not speak about the wonders of the world to come. And different commentators approach that. And they say, it's easy to say what will, the Gemara has an expression, Eidim b'tzad istan. I've got witnesses. But where are they? Oh, they're in the Amazon rainforest. They're b'tzad istan, right? It's easy to bring proof from that which cannot be challenged, right? Rather, the Torah talks about what things that will happen here in this world in terms of the bounty that will precede Shemitah if we're keeping Shemitah, and in regard to when you travel in to Yerushalayim, travel into the Beit HaMikdash during the 3 pilgrimage holidays. Yerushalayim is not mentioned. Today's Yom Yerushalayim, by the way, of course. Right? Yerushalayim is not mentioned in the Torah. It's mentioned throughout the Nevi'im and Ksuvim. But in the Torah, we speak about the place where I will rest my name, and that is Yerushalayim. And the Torah tells us that when you go there on the 3 pilgrimage holidays, all the men are going. You don't have to worry because no one will attack you. Right? Imagine if all the men would leave all of the border areas of Israel. Right? What would our friendly neighbors seek to do? And here we're told that you don't have to worry about that. And whenever there were always things going on, and therefore they did not attack. So the Torah does not speak about that which can't be substantiated, can't be proven. It talks about that which happens here in this world. And also, as Rabbi Sachs writes very often, that the Torah is not about living an oppressed life in order to have the glories of the world to come. It's living a very, very rich life here and a meaningful life here, a very rich, meaningful life here. And then what will come from that. So the Torah does not dwell on it, though I did mention the Ramban that we had at the very end of Kedoshim, where the Torah speaks about the forbidden sexual relationships, the incest relationships. And there it says, your soul will be cut off. Now, by saying your soul will be cut off, what does that mean? Well, the de facto is your soul will continue forever. Even when the body dies, the soul will continue for eternity. But if there are certain serious infractions, then that will lead to the breach of that normal situation, and the soul will be cut off. So he mentions there that the Torah is speaking there about the eternity, but it's a given. It's a given. What the Torah needs to speak about is those strange situations where we don't have that. But either way, as he's saying over here, the Yetzer Hara can't confuse us. Mitzad miut mitziuto mevuar b'sefer Toratenu, because it's not expressly written in our Torah. Umiut haraot inyano bo, right? And also the fact that we don't see it, that we don't find it. Just 1 second. Let's see how we translate that. Yeah, and the little that is there, it's only in a remez. And I would just add that, we live in a world where what we see is what we get. And we see the person dies. That's why a dead body is called avi avot hatuma. It imparts a certain impurity. What is the impurity that it imparts? Well, it manifests itself in certain laws of impurity, which when we have the Beit HaMikdash, we have the temple. It relates to where a person can and cannot go. But that impurity comes from the fact that it shakes our core belief of the eternity of the soul, of our eternity, of our eternal connection to God, because we see trees that die, we see plants that die, we see animals that die, we see human beings that die. And they all seem to follow that same progression of youth, vigor, slowing down, and then passing. So therefore, that shakes our belief. The kasher nistakel, when we look, when we go past the Torah and we look at the words of the prophets when it comes to this, Kamo, for example, in Kohelet, Haruach tashuv el Elokim asher natata, right, where Kohelet says the body will return to the earth from where it came, and the spirit will return to the God who has given it. Right, each thing goes back to its source, and the body goes back to the physical earth from where it came, and the spirit, the neshama, goes back to the God who granted it. Or it says in Zechariah, "V'natati l'cha mahalchim beina omdim ha'ela." I will give you you will be a mahalech, you will be a walker amongst these that are standing, these that are assembled. Telling Zechariah, that he will be walking amongst these angels. Now it's interesting that we refer to the angels as omdim, standers, those who stand, and we refer to Zechariah, to a human being, as a mahalech, as one who walks. And that is very, very important, because an angel, being that they don't, as our understanding, being that they don't have free will, so therefore they are omeid, they stand in a stationary position. They can't progress, they can't transcend, they can't become more than what they are. They simply do what they are commissioned to do. Malach means angel, malach means messenger. So they simply do what they're commissioned to do. Whereas we are a mehalech. We are able to walk from place to place. We are able to transpose ourselves, transcend what we were, and become something different. That is why when we say Kedusha, during the repetition of the Amidah, we stand with our feet together, because we're saying there, we should sanctify your name in this world, the same way that they sanctify it in the heavens above. So we stand with our feet together like an angel. There are certain advantages to being angel-like and our feet together. meaning with our 2 feet, we waver. We go this way, we go that way, we turn this way, we turn that way. We're never quite sure where we are. Whereas the angel is strong. At the same time, that strength doesn't allow them to move forward. We can move backward, but we could also move forward. So that is this pasuk, famous pasuk in Zechariah, that we will be walking amongst those who are standing. Or in Tehillim, King David writes, Ma rov tuvcha, how abundant is the good, asher tzafanta, that you have hidden away, le yireecha, to those who fear you. Right? Remember, tzafon is one of the steps of the Pesach Seder, and that is the afikomen, which was tzafun, which is hidden away, and that relates to the geula, to the Mashiach. That's what we switch to at the Pesach Seder, from before the meal to after the meal. That's after the meal. It's all about the messianic times. That's when we open the door for Elijah the prophet, and all the things that we do over there. And we have the tzafon. We have the hidden part of the matzah, the afikomen that had been hidden away. That was the larger part of the broken matzah. The smaller part we ate. The larger part is hidden away. That's the ultimate geula, which would be even greater. That is tzafun. So King David says, how great is the good that you have hidden away for those who fear you. Or ayin lo rasa elokim zulatecha, no eye has seen besides you, God, that which you put away for those who wait for you. And actually, this is a pasuk when Rabbi Akiva went against the law, the rule of the Romans not to teach Torah, and he was teaching Torah publicly, and he was publicly executed in the harshest, cruelest manner, of his flesh being combed off his body with these combs of iron. And his students called out, right? And his students called out, Rebbe, Ad Khan, so much you have to bear. And he said, my whole life I was saying the Shema, to serve God with all of your soul. And I wondered, when will the opportunity come to me? Now that it's come to me, should I shirk it? Should I step back? And we're taught that his soul left when he said, Echad, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem. Echad, when he said Echad, one, that is when his soul left. And the Gemara says the angels in heavens said, God, Hashem, what are you doing? Zu Torah, V'zu Sechara, is this Torah? To which I got it. To which Hashem said to the angels, right? Shtok, be quiet, right? You don't know that which awaits him. And the Gemara, I believe, quotes this pasuk, right? Ayin lo rasa elokim zulatecha. No eye has seen besides you, God, that which awaits those who are dedicated to Hashem. Or V'alach lefanecha tzidkecha, that's a pasuk in Yeshayahu. Or another pasuk from Isaiah, V'alach lefanecha tzidkecha, your righteousness will go before you. Kavod Hashem, the honor of God, ya'asvecha, will gather you in, which is an incredibly comforting view of how we view death. That the honor of Hashem will embrace you, will envelop you, will gather you in. V'harbe ke'ela, and many, many, many other psukim like this. Ima sheyoru alav diravasenu, along with that which the words of our sages have shown us, the Chron of Bracha, blessed memory. Umashi yusag mimenu b'derech haseichel tanuach, and also that which we can understand based on our own logic. With all that, tanuach nafshenu, our soul then is at peace. V'tivtach, and is assured, birur, in this clarity of this chiyuv hagmul va'onesh ba'olam haba, of that there is the world to come. I've shared before. I should, let me see if I can find it very, very quickly. I'm gonna put it on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put it on the chat. Give me just 1 second. It's worthwhile. There we go. Just 1 second, chat. When you have a chance afterwards, it's very worthwhile. Just put it in the chat there. It's called Conversations in the Womb, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Jewish song, in English though, based on the medrash of the conversations between these two twins in the womb. One of them was the optimist saying that there is life after womb, and the other one saying, you're crazy, you're a dreamer, you're living in a fantasy world. What you see is what you get, and this is our life, this is our existence, right? And that is the parable that the Medrash brings to the conversations that we have, right? About life after, is there life after death, right? And this is a womb-like existence for us, and then we enter into the place of the true life, of the true world, and not this hidden world that we are in. So that's very, very worthwhile. I strongly urge you to watch it after we finish. Okay. And once the Yitzhahara says, all right, I can't convince them when it comes to all these things, I can't confuse them and mislead them, Yishtadel la'atzel otanu, b'masei ha'avodah. Then he'll seek to cause us to become somewhat lazy when it comes to this avodah. V'yatridenu b'inyanei olamenu. Because you have to put your efforts, you have to put all of your energy into this world's pursuits. Mimachal, food, mishte, drink, malbush, clothing, merkav, what type of car are we driving? Lehanot mimene hanaot, hagufiot, and to be enjoying all of the physical, bodily, material pleasures. Right, so get involved in this world. Right, there's an economic term. As a person earns more, there's creeping something. I forgot exactly what it is. The more you earn, so that's how much you end up spending all the time, and that becomes what you need, and that becomes so important. I'm not a drinker. I just don't enjoy it. People thought for a while that I was a recovering alcoholic, and that's why I stay away from all the drinks. Actually, at one point, someone said to me, "Rabbi, are you a friend of Bill?" Right, and I think it's Bill. I think that's how it is. And before there were the apps, so if a person went to a city and needed to go to an AA meeting, so how do you find the AA meetings? They're not publicly advertised, and you can't just go onto an app as one can do today. So you'd ask, you see someone who you thought might be, say, "Are you a friend of Bill?" Either he says, "What are you talking about? I don't know what Bill." Or if he knew, he'd say, "Oh yeah, I'm a good friend of Bill. Actually, we're all getting together at this and this church over here and this time, on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock." So people thought actually for a while that because I don't like to drink that I was a recovering alcoholic, and that's not the case. If I was, I would not be embarrassed to say that's not the case. Thank God it was not that's never been a challenge of mine. I just don't enjoy it, and people would say to me, "It's an acquired habit," and I would say to them, why should I look to acquire a habit that costs $60+ at best a bottle when I enjoy drinking water? Right? Why would I want to acquire that habit? But there are many things that people, an interesting expression. Someone said to me about someone, "Oh, he's a foodie. He's a foodie." Right? When I grew up, there wasn't such a thing as a foodie. There are people who like to eat, but it didn't have this honorable appellation to it. "Oh, I'm a foodie," right? Right? But you have people who get super into all of these different olam hazeh, this worldly pursuits, and that becomes their focus. Whether it is in, what is the examples he give? Right, he gives food, drink, clothing. Right, certain people, I'll only wear this, I'll only wear that. Natalie, she's amazing. She always looks beautiful and dresses so nicely, but it's not like a designer or anything like that. It's funny. One time we were at some sort of a fair, and a woman asked Natalie, what do you wear? Oh no, who do you wear? Right? I guess that's a question you ask like amongst designers. So she answered, "Oh, I'm very selective. I wear Amazon. That's what I wear." Either that, or she says, or Target. I only shop at Target, right? Right, but some people, right, it's the food, it's the drink, it's the garments, it's the merkav. Right, interesting. He was writing this well before there were cars, right? But merkav is a mode of transportation. Certainly, in our world, we can appreciate how people will spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on these exclusive cars. There's no end to the things that we could focus on, this worldly transient things that we could put so much effort into. To get all this physical, material pleasure. The kasher nishma lav v'mazon. Now, what is the opening which he'll use, the Yetzer Hara will use to get us involved? He'll start with food. Shelo yitachen la'amod bilto, because we all need food, right? So everyone needs food. So that's a good entrance way. That's the crack in the door that he can get in through. Shelo yitachen la'amod bilto. We can't exist. We can't live without it. Then yafel lanu hamotarim. But then it's got to be this type of food served in this type of manner, right? And then all of these motarim, all of these things that are yoter, that are more beyond what we really need. Shein tefela lemizonot, all that which is really secondary to the mizonot, right? There's a book that I was reading for a while that helped me in terms of weight, right? Which was eat to live. You don't want to live to eat. You want to eat to live. You want to eat well, eat in a healthy manner, but that's not what it's all about. It's eat to live. And then all of a sudden it becomes very dear to us. Hasimcha, v'tanug, all these types of enjoyment. Ulekanei besarim. And then I get jealous of these officers, of these high society people, right? In our world we have the influencers, right? And these influencers will be paid a lot of money that when they're doing whatever it is that they're doing, right, their little video, that they'll have a bottle of Coke on the table or a bottle of Pepsi on the table, because subliminally, oh, that's what they drink. That's what I want to drink because I want to be like them, right? This whole influencers to me, it shows such a I don't know, a malady, but such a weakness of society, right? That I need to be just like them, right? And if that's what they think, that's what I should think. If that's what they wear, that's what I should wear. And that's what they drink or eat, that's what I should eat or drink, as opposed to being ourselves. So become jealous of the sarim and anshe avodatam lihidamote lehem. I want to be like them. That's what influencer is. They influence me because I want to be just like them. And to act like them. And to go in their ways. To seek out all of these different pleasures. And once this Yetzer Hara sees that it's working, right, that it's succeeded, right? And now we do strive for that. So then what's the next thing? The Yomar, he'll say, shanes matnecha, right? Gird your loins, get yourself ready. Chasov zaracha, get your arms ready. Ha'ish hanifta, you, the person who's already been seduced somewhat for the pleasures through that little opening that there was when it came to food and drink. Vishtadel b'kochacha, right, and use all of your strength. Hagever hamusat, you, the person who have been tempted by this. Va'avod ha'olam, va'avod anashav, and work this world, work the people. Ulai tagia l'ktsat mechepzechabo. If you put in all your effort, maybe you'll get there, or maybe you get close to there. V'al titasek masei olam el mashi l'chabo ezer el olam hazeh. And don't put any efforts into this world, only that which will give you more of this world. Olam hazeh. And make sure that you are in good favor, that you appear well to the people and the leaders, Hamoshlim, El Sharam, those who rule, those who are in charge, the people of power. The Al Tatrid Libcha B'Davar Min HaChachamot, and don't apply yourself to wisdom. Elamash Titchabed Bo Eitzel Anshei Darcha, only that which they consider to be of importance, right? The Gemara tells us, expounding on a pasuk in Tehillim, that King David said that I'm sitting there amongst all the kings, and what am I speaking about? I'm speaking about your laws. I'm speaking about your Torah. Right? I'm not being swayed to discuss the things that they say are so deep, so important. No, I'm discussing your Torah. V'titzratzebo el gedolei b'nei zmancha misar v'shomer v'katzin u'bal mala. And the Yitzhak tries to convince us to make sure that you're in good standing with all of these people of power, whether it's an officer, a shoter, a katzin, a ruler, a balmala, anyone of importance, anyone of influence. Kechachmat halashon, right, to know how to speak a certain way. V'tochan hamishkal, I'm not sure exactly what that means, right? Or exactly the dikduk, the way that you speak, the manner that you speak. Vashir, and the music, Vachidot, Hachamudot, or these different parables that they'll use, Hamishalim, Hamuflaim, Hamlitzot, and Achriot, all of these high society things to talk about, to understand, to be well versed in, and to put all your effort into that. V'tatmid lashevet im anshei hatzachot v'lamed ledaber and call kat mikitov b'nei adam, to know how to speak properly to each of these groups. Right, you don't want to be quiet over there. You want to make sure you know what to say. So you have to put all of your time into staying up on the latest things, whether the latest fashion, the latest who knows what, that everyone is so involved in. And don't put your effort into other wisdoms besides this world wisdoms, the things that will get you honor in this world. That's what it'll try to get us overly involved into this world, into who we know and what we know and how we say it and how we appear, right? And the clothing that we have to wear and the cars that we need to drive and all of this stuff which a person can invest all of their energy into and not really get anywhere from it. But if we will not open that door initially, when it comes to the easiest entry into this wrong turn that we make, which we said before was the food, since we have to eat anyhow, so that's the weak spot. But if we don't go overboard on that, to get ourselves used to all of the extras, and to chase after it, and if our response will be, I don't need that. The involvement in the food that I need to do is enough of a distraction already from what I really need to be focusing myself on, which is my relationship to God, my relationship to others, my relationship to myself. And I need to do that. If God will give us additional, extra, And if God will send us a blessing that will have this bounty without putting all of our energy, or without putting our thoughts and our energies into it, but we will have that bounty, then we'll use it. We should use that for what it's best to be used. To use it in a proper way, to use it in a way that we are sharing it with others, helping others, as opposed to seeing how much we can garner just for ourselves. Being low, and if God does not send us this bounty, and we have what we need, nistapek b'mazon, then we should be satisfied with what we have. V'lo nitztarech el zulato, and not feel the need for more and more and more. So this is not to go after all of the extra things in life that a person could devote so much time and energy and resources towards that, and that can become all-consuming for a person. Az yishaber hayetzer v'inagef. Right? So then, if that's what a person will do from the outset, then this yetzer will get worn out, right? Will be broken. But if we'll follow them, then it's dangerous. One thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. It could cause a person to be destroyed both in this world and in the world to come. Right? The person feels they need to keep up, and they need more and more and more and more. There's a story that I heard years ago that had a very strong impression on me. When I lived in the East Coast, here we have, Mar will tell you all about Simchat Shabbat, right? There, in the East Coast, we have something called Tomchei Shabbos, it was called. And Tomchei Shabbos, we would give out boxes and boxes and boxes of food every Erev Shabbos, filled with stuff, and similar to what Simchat Shabbat does, right? To people who could use a little bit of a help. And it was a crazy budget. The person who was running it, actually a cousin of Karen Hepner, the one who's running in Rockland County. I used to go with my boys on Thursday nights, and we used to pack up the boxes. Then they have some good Thursday night cholent and potato kugel and daven mariv. It was great, right? And but it was a crazy budget. I think it's about $8 million a year budget that he needed to raise. And he told me a story that he one time went to a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful home in Muncie, to a very, very wealthy person. And he was there to solicit funds for Tomchei Shabbos. And the guy said to him, it's a great organization. I love what you guys do, right? I'll give you a check for $10,000, a nice check, right? But I just want to know the names of 10 people who you distribute to. The guy says, "Listen, please, we respect everyone's privacy, and we don't share any names that we're giving." The guy said, "All right, I'll give you $20,000, right? Give me 3 names. 3 names." The guy said, "Sorry, we just don't do that." The guy said, "I'll give you $50,000 right now. A check for $50,000. Give me 1 name. 1 person that's on your list that you give to." And the guy said, "Listen, we really do need that money, and that will help us feed many, 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 many families, but we don't give out any names. I'm sorry." At that point, this guy broke down and said, "I'm living in this big house. I got this major mortgage. I can't afford it. I'm trying to get out of it. I'm being crushed under all of these debts. I'm sorry, I can't help you, but please add me to your list. I need to be a recipient of your boxes on Friday." And he just needed to make sure that his name would not get out there. But here's a person who I'm sure was doing very, very well, but then one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And then all of a sudden you're under this crushing weight of all the things that you've got to support, that you've got to keep going. And if things start to fall apart, then you no longer have the inflow, but you still have all those responsibilities. And it buries people. And it buries people in this world, and it buries people in the world to come. Because all of a sudden, if I have to maintain it, sometimes it's by hook or by crook that a person feels that they have to keep on going in order to maintain that. And the key is to not get caught up in this, right? When it comes to all of the motarot, all of the extra things in life, to be, right? I always say it's always misinterpreted. Ezehu Ashir says in Pirkei Avos, who is a wealthy person? Hasameach bechelko. Always mistranslated, often mistranslated as someone who is satisfied with his lot. It doesn't say satisfied. It says sameach bechelko. A person is actually happy. And chelko, their lot, chelek means a part. It's a part of something, meaning no one has everything. No one has everything. Everyone has got a chelek, a portion. What portion do we have? The portion we have is exactly the amount that God said that's what you need to have. Doesn't mean that you can't, make the effort for more, but as long as it's good kosher effort for what you need, beautiful, beautiful. If it succeeds, great. If it doesn't succeed, it means God's saying this is the exact amount that you are supposed to have, and be happy with that. And famously, the last of the 10 commandments is lo tachmod, not to covet, not to be jealous of what others have, right? And the way the Even Ezer, one of the commentators, explains over there is, how could God command us about a feeling? Well, the command then is to work on yourself to have the view of life, the view of this world, that God is in charge and God is giving everyone what they need, right? And if I don't need that, then it's like a fifth wheel, right? A third leg is not going to make me run any faster. It's just going to get in the way. And the fifth wheel is not going to help the car. And therefore, anything besides what I have, it's something that is not meant for me. It's meant for someone else. And therefore, I'm not going to covet my neighbor's car, servant, house, whatever, right, whatever it might, a spouse, whatever it is. I'm going to be truly sameach with that which I have, and to recognize that. You know what? Let's watch this together for a minute. We have a few minutes left, if you don't mind. We could watch this together. Let me get it. Let me see if I can get it over here. Let me see if I can share. Let me see if I can share. Just 1 second. Share. Ah, good. There's no sound.
Rabbi, mute is on.
Oh, you don't hear it?
I don't. I don't know if anybody else does.
I think on the chat we can call it up on our own, though.
Oh, well, try that, please. You'll on your own computers listen to it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song with a lot of meaning. Okay, my friends. So I'll see some of you in 2 weeks, Melvin and Marta. Next Monday night is Shavuot holiday, so we'll be having Yom Tov. But all are welcome to please join us. Please join us Sunday night, all night learning. We're going to hear about the scandalous pedigree of the Mashiach, and we're going to enter into the Messianic times with Masechet Tamid, which talks about the service that was done in the Beit HaMikdash. All night learning Sunday night, preceded by a meal here at the shul. So please do sign up for that, and then stay the night. Okay, okay, very good. So in 2 weeks' time we'll resume, and Melvin and Marta we'll see you after your trip. Have a wonderful, wonderful trip.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.